Hi, I just wanted to say a few words about how labels can be really damaging for anybody who's in an addiction. Labels, I'd say, for instance, there was a post from somebody who thought that overeating or food addiction is akin to substance abuse. I mean, there may be some element of truth in that, but that's open for debate. But it just seems such a harsh, if you like, label to put on it. And labels are they're kind of convenient. They help us to, put things in boxes and to understand things better. I mean, it's so common if, for instance, you've got symptoms and you don't know what's wrong with you, and for instance, you go to the doctor, and many people, certainly if they have sort of mental health issues, and they go to the doctor, and the doctor will tell them, or you've got depression, or you've got anxiety, or you've got whatever it is. I mean, another one, for instance, is fibromyalgia. I'm just pulling these examples out of the air, but fibromyalgia is kind of a sort of widespread pain, joint pain that a lot of people suffer from, and it causes a lot of grief, but there's no specific cause for it, apparently. Oh, sorry, that's my dog, a bit noisy. But often a label or a diagnosis will actually really help, and that person will feel relief from that. Just having a diagnosis can help people feel relieved. And it's similar, like labels generally can help people sort of feel better, and I've got anxiety, so the doctor diagnosed, and that's not to take away from the symptoms of anxiety. They're very real, or any symptoms of any condition for that matter. But the fact that a person receives a diagnosis, if you like, a label, they feel better. And that's normal. It's perfectly normal. And it's almost like a relief. People can feel relief from that. And to sort of apply that in addiction, because it's very common for people to feel, well, once an addict, always an addict. And it's just my personal opinion. I feel that can be very damaging. Now, I've done posts on honesty, and that's absolutely critical when people are trying to take that first step to overcome an addiction. And that it takes honesty to do that, to admit, and I understand that 12-step program, you go to a meeting and you admit, I'm an alcoholic, or I'm a gambler, or whatever the addiction is, and that in itself provides a lot of relief for people. And being with other people who are going through the same thing, it gets rid of the loneliness and the feeling of anxiety and depression. Excuse me, my dog is being very noisy. And whilst that's important at one point, I think there comes a point when that, if you like, that label could almost be a hindrance to recovery from the addiction. Because when somebody labels themselves, yes, the mind likes familiarity, it likes a label, it makes things convenient, but it also takes away to a degree that element of self-regulation, self-expression and development, and it can take away your power. It can be disempowering. So there are pluses and minuses. Of course, it's positive to admit and to say, look, I'm an addict, I've got this problem, and it's hugely important. But like I say, I think it's important also to leave room for releasing that label, and to allow room for growth and the probability as opposed to the possibility, and hopefully inevitability of overcoming the addiction and never having to go back through that again. So I think if you label yourself too much, you're taking away your own power, and you can also take away hope, and you're setting yourself up for continued struggle and battles. And yes, people can be more disposed to addiction and triggers, and I do think it depends on the amount of work and therapy and self-help that you engage in, because it can be an ongoing process. You almost have to become a different person when you overcome an addiction. You have to develop and grow and find other areas of interest, other things to do, other projects. You've got to rewire that brain so your focus is elsewhere. Your focus is on living your life in a much more positive way and not destructive. So that's the power of a label. Whilst it can help people feel good and to take away the pressure a little bit, the pressure of the pain and the shame and guilt and that, but it can also kind of keep those negative feelings in place. If you constantly feel that, oh well, I'm an addict and that's me, that's my lot. People have, I believe, and I know there's tons of evidence, people have extraordinary capacity for growth and development and change. It's in all of us. It is in all of us, and with the right help and the right support, you can also achieve that. Believe that 100%. And there's a lot of evidence to support that. So, that's why I feel labels, they have their use, but then they have a sell-by date, and I think it's as early on, as soon as you can, you've got to loosen that grip on holding on to a label, because it's not really going to help you grow and permanently leave behind your addiction, which is so 100% probable if you engage in the right course of treatment and help. So that's all for now, and I hope that's been helpful and positive and uplifting, because that's what I aim to do. Bye for now.